Strike up the band, cue the brass bonanza. The Carolina Hurricanes on Whalers night win 5-2 over the Buffalo Sabres. What more can you say that was just a whaley awesome night?
Your Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to a Friday edition of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you to the everydayer for making this your first listen of the day. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, talking everything but sure, Carolina Hurricanes. I'm your host, Zach Martin. I'm the credentialed Carolina Hurricanes beat writer over at the Hockey Writers. Also do some AHL content over at the Colorado Times. Also the co-host of the Surgecast, which is a weekly Carolina Hurricanes podcast, along with all my duties here at Locked On Hurricanes. Got a fantastic Friday edition as we get to recap the on Whalers night to stay undefeated in regulation, going 5-0-1. Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall shined on a great night that saw a lot of scoring and a lot of points across the board. And we also get to hear from Taylor Hall post-game. But before we jump into all that, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Now, coming into this game, Carolina was on a 2-game losing streak, and they were looking to get to end February in the win column. Last time they played the Sabres, they lost 4-2 in Buffalo, and they were looking to exact some revenge and also keep their 4-0-1 undefeated run at home on Whalers night going, and they did just that. And one of the things for me was, how is the special teams going to play a factor into this? Because that was one of my keys of the game. While the penalty kill did go 2 for 3, they did give up, a power play in the first period with under a minute left. But that was pretty much the only blemish in terms of the PK. Other than that, they played pretty well. But how about the power play for the Hurricanes? I said special teams needs to be huge, and I know the Hurricanes aren't really that great right now on the power play, but they're going against one of the worst teams in the PK unit, and they did just that. They got one. They went 50% 1-4-2, and one of my other big keys of the game was put up a lot of goals on this team. These guys give up well over 3.5 goals a game. They were 29th in the entire league, and the Hurricanes put up 5 goals on these guys. So you love to see it for the fact that they pretty much did a lot of the keys that I asked them for. And also, they started on time. They started early, and they got Lenovo Center rocking early. So early, how about just Barry Kotkaniemi? Just right off the draw. He doesn't really start a whole lot of games, but he's like, thought about it in warm-ups. And, it was just him and Dylan Cousins right at the opening face-off, and he absolutely rock'em sock'em roboted him right onto the ice. That was some very old school 90s hockey right there. And it was just I love the graphics and just the theme of what Whalers night was this year, where you can definitely tell it was a lot of 8-bit, a lot of 90s nostalgia. And, if you saw all their promo videos and the photos and stuff, you could definitely tell this was very 90s-esque with, the old school PC opening screens and all the old video games and jackets and just the old cell phones. It was just really awesome to see. And the fact that they definitely went NHL 94, 95 vibes with like the graphic designs and even their on-ice projection. It was literally like almost a loading screen on NHL 94 where you saw the team's names with their dual tones underneath. I thought they did a really great job. The Hurricanes absolutely nailed it for Whalers night per usual, but just for the fact that you saw an old school 90s rock'em sock'em robot type fight with just Barry Kotkaniemi, that really started the whole shindig off. The Hurricanes scored 3 goals in the first period because obviously why not have an awesome start like that where you see a fight and then just automatically get 3 goals in a span of 4 minutes. Jordan Staal gets one. Sebastian Aho gets one after a great pass from Mikko Rantanen. And then Mikko Rantanen on the power play. Like I said, the power play goal they needed came from him. Fantastic passing from between Rantanen, Gostisbehere, and Svechnikov. Svech found him in between the circles. An amazing wrister. And you know what? that was Mikko's first multi-point game for the Hurricanes, and you love to see that. Like I said, Buffalo did score, but the second period, all Carolina. Even Taylor Hall got in the scoring. That was his first as a Carolina Hurricane. Way to make a statement for your first goal with the team being on Whalers night. You'd love to see that for him. Congratulations to him for that. And gotta give a big shout out to Jordan Martinook, 700th NHL game, gets the opening assist on the Jordan Staal goal. I mean, what a way to celebrate your 700th game in the NHL by getting a point in a win on Whalers night, and you end February with the win. Then, of course, Seth Jarvis in the third period ices the game in an empty netter, makes it 5-2 for his team-leading 23rd goal of the season. You'd love to see that as well. Just honestly, across the board, what an absolute great night for the Hurricanes. You'd love to see it. I mean, Peter Kochetkov, how about stopping 13 of 15? What more can you ask out of him? You'd love to see it too. I mean, yeah, it's not a lot of opportunities, but hey, you'll take anything you get, and he actually does finish on the night for the Hurricanes. It is a 67 save percentage, but hey, you know what? 13 of 15, you'll gladly take that. But in terms of points, Shane Gostisbehere got a point, finishes a +1. Burns, Walker, and Slavin all finish with pluses. Burns and Walker with a +2, Slavin with a +3. The forward core. How about the forwards tonight? Mikko Rantanen, like I said, multi-point game, 2 points, 21 shifts, 17 minutes and 37 seconds. Sebastian Aho with the goal. Jordan Staal with the goal. Like I said, Seth Jarvis. And then Svechnikov and Martinook got the assist. Taylor Hall with the goal. Jesperi Kotkaniemi with an assist. And Jack Roslovic. I will say the Jack Roslovic assist to the Taylor Hall goal, absolutely electric. How about the fact that it's still a pass and then does a no-looker right to Taylor Hall, who was basically all alone for a tap-in goal. Just, you could definitely tell that the Hurricanes want to come out and set the tone and set the pace for this game because they know their last 2 games were not great. They did not play well. And they come in here, opening draw face-off fight, win it, score 3 goals in less than 4 minutes. You basically played Hurricanes hockey. Yeah, I mean, you left the gas a little bit in the third period, but you're still up 2 goals, and you still took care of business. And this is a game where you end February on a high note. And the forward lines, I mean, the fact you got Svechnikov, Aho, Rantanen as your top line, not upset about that at all. It looked like they were playing pretty well together. Of course, you got the Jordans with Jarvis. And then the line of Robinson, Roslovic with KK in the middle, they did really well as a fourth line. Honestly, top to bottom, these forward lines might be onto something. But it'll definitely be interesting to see how they do on Saturday against the Edmonton Oilers. But honestly, not upset about that. We might be onto something. So I want to see on Saturday how they do. But overall, I mean, what more can you really say about a night like this where you definitely needed a win? You needed to end February on a good note. You go out there, put up 5 goals on the Sabres, who are 7-3-0 in their last 10. You'll take any win you can get. You end February on a high, like I said, on a strong note. They got a back-to-back on Saturday and Sunday against Edmonton and Calgary, but that sets you up in a good, hopefully puts you in a good mojo for March because now we're going to the second to last month of the season, and this is where it's going to be, all right, time to dig in and see what you can do. But 34 wins on the season. They're now 22-6-1 at home, and just you have to feel great as a Carolina Hurricanes fan seeing the team win like this. And also too, how about for the fact that this was a game where now you're 5-0-1. You're 5-0-1 on Whalers night, and for the fact too with the Seth Jarvis goal, and I love when you keep seeing this pop up. How about the fact that the Hurricanes are now 64-5-5 in regulation when he scores a goal? What more can you say about just a great night that was? And and like I said, you love to see from Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall for just a big night that Mikko had. Even for Taylor Hall, a huge night for him as well. And you know what? We're going to have to talk about it because you were waiting for Mikko Rantanen to have his multi-point game. You were waiting for Taylor Hall to get his first as a Hurricane, and they do it on a big night like this. So stick around as I'll talk more about Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall's night here in a second on a Friday edition of Locked on Hurricanes. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get on it than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. Right now, new FanDuel customers get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Welcome back to segment 2 of Locked on Hurricanes, your team every day. Like I said, at the end of segment 1, we have to talk about Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall shining on a night that was Whalers night. I mean, with Mikko Rantanen, all you keep hearing is the speculation of, are the Canes going to keep him? Are they going to flip him at the deadline? Why hasn't he signed the offer that they gave him? And, all this discourse that's going on, I've been saying it's like, hey, you know what? The Hurricanes trade him for a reason. They want him for the season. They want him for the playoffs. They gave him the contract. And I mean, that's an initial contract. They can still work on it. At least we kind of know there's a baseline deal that it can start conversation. So I still don't see a reason why they're going to do that. And, you keep seeing all these opportunities that he keeps having. It's just the puck luck's not there. Like you said, in post, crossbars, the goalie's making saves, and you're waiting for that breakout game where he can just take over. And, I mean, his underlying numbers have been great. But you're waiting for that Mikko Rantanen takeover game. And you saw that. You saw that on Whalers night. He got the game-winning goal. He got the assist on the Aho goal as well. So you love to see that for the fact you got the fin-to-fin connection for the second goal to make it 2-0, like less than 2 minutes after the Jordan Staal goal. And then on the power play, just some fantastic passing where you get Shane Gostisbehere back on the power play 1 unit, and you automatically get a goal in that game. You go 1 for 2, but great passing from Rantanen to find Gostisbehere to Svech, and then Svech right to Rantanen. But the fact that you saw Mikko Rantanen go in there and do what he did, like I said, when you look at the overall stat line of how he played, 2 points, 1 goal and an assist, 17 minutes and 37 seconds of time on ice, 21 shifts, a power play goal. He even had 3 shots in the game. I mean, talk about just putting the absolute effort for him. And he also had a hit in this game too. So pretty much Mikko Rantanen was very much noticeable. He threw the body, made a lot of great shots, got the power play goal. He, even while playing 17 minutes and 37 seconds, he did a phenomenal job. And that's what you really want out of this guy. And for the fact you see him go put up a multi-point night on Whalers night, it's great to see. And hopefully it's kind of like I said going into the preview episode for this game is this. You hope that Whalers night is kind of like a jumping board for this team to get back into the win column, start March off on a good note where you just won the last game in February. You go into March, and this is kind of like what the team needs to get the monkey off the back of the last 2 games, and you give Mikko Rantanen like a chance to be like, breathe. Okay, you are Mikko Rantanen. You scored a goal. You got the assist. You had a great night, and that's what you needed out of him. And I think that's really what's going to help him overall with block out all the noise that's coming from national media of are the Canes going to keep him? Are the Canes going to trade him? Why has he signed the deal yet? You block all that out, and you go out there and you put up a performance like that. There you go. What more do you really need? You love to see that if you're Mikko Rantanen. I know you love to see it for the Carolina Hurricanes and even the fans too, because it's like, okay, look, he's now up to 5 points with the team. He had a multi-point game. You love to see that, and now it gives him like the puck luck's back, the touch is there. Let's just continue this on to the weekend. Go into Saturday against Edmonton, and you do it on Sunday against Calgary, and you're setting yourself up to a great March and just building on. Maybe that slow start, but maybe once everything clicks in together, like I said, this forward group is where it's at, and it makes sense. And there you go. Hurricanes right the ship. Mikko's going, and there you go. Now we just see what the last 23 games of the regular season are, and you get ready for the playoffs. So this is hopefully definitely a good starting point for that. But Taylor Hall, how about an absolute game from him as well? Scores his first with the Carolina Hurricanes, and overall, scores a goal, +1. He did all this in 11 minutes and 35 seconds of ice time, 15 shifts. How about 3 shots? And surprisingly enough, he was never credited with the hit, but you can definitely tell Taylor Hall threw a couple big ones. I don't know why they weren't registered, but either way, what a night for him to get his first goal with the Carolina Hurricanes. I have to say, Jack Rosovic's no-look pass to him to basically give him the opportunity to be wide open right in front of James Reimer. Fantastic. You love to see it. And you know that he's been trying so hard to get a goal too. I mean, yeah, he's not putting up a lot of shots like Mikko has, but this is a good sign for him. I'm like, okay, now you get that monkey off the back. Now you don't have to worry about, okay, when's he going to get his first for the Hurricanes? When's he going to get his first for the Hurricanes? He got it. And overall, I mean, he's had jump no matter who he's been with. He's been with Aho, he's been with Blake, he's been with KK, he's just basically been with a lot of these guys. And just the way he played tonight with Jost and Blake, like Jost, Blake, and Hull, fantastic line. They played really well together. Like I said, I think these forward lines might be onto something. And you could tell that Hull right from the jump, every game, he's just been absolutely on it, showing why he's the first overall pick. Yeah, maybe he's not going to be the guy, the number one dude, which he's fine with that. He's okay with being a guy who's going to give you 100% effort every night. And for me, I think I've seen enough. I would love to see, we all are waiting for Rantanen to get an extension. I would love when we get that announcement done, but I would also love to see a Taylor Hall extension. I think, he's finally on a team that he's actually going to be, get used to winning. A team that has aspirations to make the playoffs and go for a deep Stanley Cup run. And I think Hall's going to give you what you need, and he's a great top 9 forward that you need for this team. Big body, throws hits, fantastic passes, gives you 100% effort, forecheck, back check. Honestly, extend Taylor Hall, give him 3 years. I don't care what the dollar amount is, as long as it's reasonable, which I think it very much will be. I think Taylor Hall's done moving around. He said he wants to be in Carolina. And honestly, if the Hurricanes give him a 3-year deal, let's say it's half of his contract now. Give him the Jalen Chatfield contract. Give him a 3x3, and there you go. You're done. And then if he takes it, then fantastic. You got Taylor Hall on a 3-year, $3 million deal per season. You'll gladly take that. Even once William Carrier is back, you have William Carrier on a wing with Taylor Hall on a wing too, and all these other guys. So yeah, Taylor Hall for me has done so much where I've already liked his game before. I liked him when he was in Buffalo. I liked him when he was in Chicago. He was solid with Boston. We all know what he did with New Jersey where he won the Hart. Taylor, he just hasn't had any luck to stick with the team for whatever reason. He's a first overall pick that puts up points. It's just he gets shut off so much because a lot of these teams want a guy like Taylor Hall, but luck is in Carolina. And like I said, I've seen enough that I hope the Hurricanes give him extension because he does a phenomenal job. And that's a kind of been there, done that leadership you want in that locker room, even for a new guy. And I think he'd be an excellent addition to the top 9 for this forward core. So if you're looking at a 3x3 for Taylor Hall, sign me up today. Let's get it done. And that's all she wrote for that one. But honestly, what a great night for Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall. Mikko gets a goal and assist. You'd love to see that. Gets his first multi-point night. Gets the, hopefully quiets the crowd a little bit of why isn't he doing anything in Carolina? What does he fit with the team and all this? Nope, fine, all good. Hopefully this is a great start to a jumping board to what's next for him. And awesome for Taylor Hall too, getting his first goal with the Carolina Hurricanes. You just love to see that for him because he's done so much. He's been so close, and now he finally gets it done. And just an impeccable person on and off the ice. And honestly, his interviews are absolutely fantastic. So with that said, in segment 3, we are going to listen to Taylor Hall postgame. So stick around as we listen to that and give my thoughts here in a second on a Friday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. If you're like me, your mornings have to start with a good cup of coffee, but I got tired of selling for grocery store brands that just weren't cutting it. That's why I turned to Trade. And let me tell you, this coffee is next level. Trade is the number one specialty coffee marketplace in the U.S., bringing you fresh coffee from over 50 of the country's top roasters. Their experts have taste tested thousands of coffees, curating over 450 amazing roasts. Whether you're new to coffee or know exactly what you like, they'll handpick the perfect match for you. And if you don't love your first bag, no worries. Trade will replace it for free until they get it right. Right now, Trade is exclusively offering our listeners 40% off your first order at drinktrade.com/LockedOnNHL. That's drinktrade, TRADE.com/LockedOnNHL for 40% off your first order. Why not start your morning off great with some Trade coffee? Welcome back to segment 3 of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. Like I said in segment 2, Taylor Hall is great on and off the ice. He gives great interviews, and honestly, his postgame after the Whalers game, absolutely fantastic. I loved it. So, without further ado, let's jump into that and hear from Taylor Hall right now.
Hurricanes. Yeah, it's always good. It's nice to contribute and get on the score sheet, but more important for us to get a win, and a win where we played pretty well for the majority of the game.
Does it feel like you're starting to come out of the transition phase now and get settled a little bit more with the team?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of road games to start. I think 6 of my first 8 have been on the road, so it's nice to be home and feel the energy, and how this group plays on home ice is a really nice way to kind of get acclimated to the hockey and the pace and the pressure that we play with. So good, it's just a good win overall. I think a lot of guys had some really good games.
Taylor, I'm sure as a team you guys have to feel 10 pounds lighter getting the first goal in tonight's game. Just how important was that first period to get things going?
Yeah, whether we score or not, it's just about how we play and the habits that we have. And, right off the drop of the puck, we had that. It's important for us to make do on this homestand and play well, and we'll figure out the road after. But games like that are good for us to get going.
How good of a pass was that from Rosie?
Yeah, it was nice. He's a creative player, and I read it well. Had a feeling he was going to look for that, and I think he picked it off out of the air with one hand too. So he's a nifty player. He's an easy guy to play with. We've had a few shifts since I've been a Hurricane, and it's a lot of fun.
What did you think of Whalers night?
It was great. I mean, the energy in this crowd's always there. It's always fun, no matter what night of the week it is, who we're playing. I've been a visitor here many times and kind of felt, not just the hockey, but the crowd and everything is tough, and it's overwhelming as a visiting player. So, but it's cool wearing the headbands. In warm up, that was a fun little touch. I think the guys had a lot of fun with that, and just seeing all the jerseys in the crowd. I mean, we were at lunch today, and there was a woman that came to the game from Connecticut. So there's a lot of Whalers fans that have turned into Hurricanes fans, and it made for a fun night.
Big thank you to Taylor Hall and the Carolina Hurricanes as always for that. And you gotta love the fact of just how great and professional his answers are, and just overall just so genuine too, for the fact that for him, it's no matter what night it is, it could be Whalers night, it could be a Friday, it could be a random Tuesday. The crowd's always in it, and just for him being an opposing player now as a fan, coming at playing for the home team, hasn't really had a lot of home games, and now you get to experience a night like Whalers night, which you love to hear from him. Is the fact that you got the guys wearing the headbands, everyone's having a great time. He's seeing why Whalers night is always a vibe every year. And it's just great to see him, be happy and kind of this was great. Doesn't matter what the night is, it's just always a good time. But just for the fact that the guys get so much into it because it's so nostalgic, so 90s, so retro, it's just awesome to see. And the fact too is you look at how even with the fact you got people from Connecticut coming down, just being able to go to these nights like this. So it's just overall, just Taylor Hall as a person. I mean, how can you not want a guy in that locker room? That's why I say you give him that extension. I think he'd be a great, veteran addition to this room. He doesn't have to be the top dog. He doesn't have to be, a mentor. He can just be a guy who's, go there, do his job, lead by example, be there if he needs to be for teammates and go about business. And I think that'd be a great addition to this team. And he'd be fantastic on the top 9. And, just for the fact too, just the great, talk about that great pass that he got from Jack Roslovic, stealing the puck, hits him on a perfect backhand, no looking, scores a goal, gets his first, and it's just, the building was electric, and just being able to hear from him, and just if you watch the actual post-game press conference on, FanDuel, you could definitely tell that, you could sense that relief of, you know what, they won the game, they finally snapped that 2-game losing streak. You do it in front of the crowd is Novo Center on a Whalers night, and you do it in a big way where you go out and win 5-2. You end February on a great note, and you move on to March and you get ready for the back-to-back. So it's just it gives you a good feeling, like even for the new guys, you see like with Mikko Rantanen how great he played, even Taylor Hall getting his first goal as a Hurricane, and doing on a night like this. Now you're 5-0-1, at home for Whalers night. You're 6-0-3 overall wearing those colors. So something about wearing the Whalers colors makes this team undefeated in regulation, and just for the fact that even doing it at home, you're 5-0-1. It's something about that night. It just makes it so great, and the fact that they haven't been doing this for so long, it's just amazing to see. And honestly, just get used to this as an annual tradition because they've already done it 6 years in a row at home. So we're gonna make this is probably gonna be a long-lasting thing because of the jerseys and nostalgia and everything else. It's gonna be a lot of fun for that. But I'm just happy for Taylor Hall. Gets his first goal as a Hurricane. I hope he stays here past this season because he'll be a great addition to this team. And also, big shout out to Mikko Rantanen. You love to see that for him getting his multi-point night. Just Barry Kotkaniemi kicks off the night, setting the tone with that win. You run him up, and you run the score up, and you pound him in with a fight, and then Sebastian Aho scoring, and then obviously Seth Jarvis getting his 23rd goal of the season to continue lead the Carolina Hurricanes. Just a great night overall. I love Whalers night, and this is one of those vibes, one of those nights that springboards what could be hopefully a great run for the Hurricanes to start March. I'm excited to see what this team does on Saturday and Sunday against the Oilers and then the Calgary Flames. But guys, that will wrap up a Friday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. Thank you for making it your first listen today. For your second listen, well, why don't you check out Locked On NHL Podcast, bringing you the daily league-wide stories that matter with the local coverage you love from Locked On. Find Locked On NHL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you want to keep up with me, I'm at One True Zach on X. The podcast is LO_Hurricanes. I'm also in Blue Sky at the Zachary Martin. I do have link trees in both my bios where you can check out all my articles at the Hockey Writers or the HockeyWriters.com. I did just post a recap of the game on Friday night, so if you haven't yet, or Thursday night, make sure to go check that out when you can. If you want to check out my AHL content, well, it's at theCalderTimes.com. If you want to check out my other podcasts, well, it's the Surgecast on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. For this show, well, we're on Spotify, Google, Apple, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen. Make sure to follow, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, and make sure to leave a review so I might just read it on the show. For YouTube, well, it's Locked On Hurricanes. Subscribe. Hit the notifications, you'll miss the show. Hit the thumbs up button, let me know if you like the show as well. Share with our other Keniacs to become everydayers just like you. But hope everyone enjoyed this Friday edition of Locked On Hurricanes post Whalers night win. I hope everyone has a great Friday. Hope everyone has a great weekend enjoying the Canes, hopefully winning against the Edmonton Oilers and the Calgary Flames. We'll be back on Monday to talk about both of those games. But until next time, as always, let's go Canes and cue up the Brass Bonanza.